Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gamers Galaxie, episode number 15. I've got my boy WT here. How are you, mate?
Good. Glad to be back for my second appearance here on Gamers Galaxie. Looking forward to it, brother.
You came back. You came back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're a bit late on this one because I've been not feeling 100%. Going a foot injury that's causing a lot of pain. So I've been literally unable to walk. So not sure what it is, but it seems to be coming good now. I'm ready to go again. And there's been lots going on as some big announcements to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you're feeling better. I know you've been down and out in a lot of pain, and I was a little bit worried about you. I'm not going to lie. And I'm glad to hear your voice. I'm glad you're back. And it's always good to be on the mend. And I know you're going to come back even bigger and stronger than before. And yeah, lots of good stuff coming up. But I got to say, we need to like tip some wine glasses together or something, or champagne glasses, and celebrate the second time that IMX was voted #1 startup for Australia on LinkedIn.
Oh, that's right. I saw that there. It's not hard to win that. It's only about 5 companies in Australia, isn't there? It's just tiny little country. So,
We gotta
that's good. That's a good.
take the wins where we can
It's a
get
good
them,
achievement.
brother.
It's a good achievement. It's great.
Yep.
Although LinkedIn is like the ultimate virtue signal platform that was forced to work on for 15 years. Well, not 15 years because it didn't come. It came in after I started, so probably about 10 years. And I just used to dream about not having to open that application up every single day for my job. And now I've moved into software development for the last 5 years. I still remember. It's still up there of the top 5 things I hate the most in the world. So I really couldn't give a crap what LinkedIn gives towards anyone. Their platform is the devil, in my opinion.
Well, all right. I'm gonna
That's what
scratch
I really
that one off.
think.
Things I should not have brought up.
Yeah, mate, I literally hated it. Like it was just having to listen to people say how wonderful they are and how wonderful their company is and all this stuff, and it's just the virtue signal after virtue signal after virtue signal. It makes me vomit, mate. It's horrible. So stay it off if you can, peoples.
Yeah.
If you
So
don't, unless you
IMX.
love it. But IMX
Oh,
is I check it occasionally because they're on it and they do post some good posts on there themselves. So so many platforms, you don't need it.
right.
Just use Twitter now. Twitter's the everything app. That's all you need.
Yeah. So
Or X.
yeah, IMX,
So yeah,
man.
there's other.
Big announcement with Amazon, huh?
Oh yeah, that's Well, I'm trying to work that out. Is like I did a bit of digging, and trying to work out what the level of the partnership is. Like, all blockchains are all guilty of overselling what their achievements are. So, you just see it over and over again. Like, I actually got told to delete a message once if I wanted to stay an advocate because I was a bit harsh on a blockchain for just being an absolute bullcrap. So I had to delete that the other day. And in hindsight, I normally delete that stuff without having been told, but it was just I just had enough of this one blockchain lying and lying and lying all day long on Twitter, and I was like, I just called him out for it. So
Nice.
what my point is that like this is a great partnership, but if they've got access to a little bit more than someone that's not on this program, and they've got access to sales, and so it's going to lead to more game leads for them, and the partnership of the $100,000 to as part of the deal is it's huge. Like if you get 100 grand worth of credits on AWS, that's your whole entire dev period for any testing you need to do, and then maybe even 6 months to 12 months of running your game for the first year. So it'd be
Yep.
interesting to see. I'm not an expert on AWS. What is it? Actually, do you know what it is? AWS?
I believe, from my understanding, Amazon has massive amounts of servers worldwide, and AWS is the company that they have it under, and you need the server space to do whatever you're going to do on the web. And I look at this as, I said it was a big announcement, and yeah, you're right. A lot of these companies do oversell these announcements and stuff like that. But I think this is, it's not like they're officially part of Amazon and it's going to go to the moon or anything like that for IMX, but it gains them access to a vast pipeline of game studio leads and support for successful deal closures is the technical thing that they had written up. But in layman's terms is Amazon is going to bring IMX business and AWS infrastructure and support. And in return, IMX is going to provide them back a Web3 platform for any games that are affiliated with Amazon if they want to go that route. So it's basically, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And I think it's a big deal because Amazon has been leaning hard into the NFT space very quietly. They've been with Blanco's Block Party for a couple years now, doing things on the side with them. Recently, Mojo Melee, if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know a lot about Mojo Melee, but I know a lot about Blanco's Block Party. Very, very cool game. And you can see that Amazon is preparing for the future.
They've built an NFT marketplace as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can buy and sell on Blanco's Block Party very easily. Or are you talking about Amazon?
Amazon has built their own marketplace, NFT marketplace as well.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I'm not sure if it's live yet. So I don't know. So Amazon is not just servers. Yeah. So traditionally in the old days, you used to, your dev team the business would say to the dev team, I need to build, you to build this. The dev team would architect it, and then they'd go to the server team and say, hey, we need 400 servers to run, to ensure capacity of, running this many calculations or this many, transactions or whatever it is that the servers need the load. So they need to design and predict load. And so that would take 6 weeks minimum for the metal to arrive, the server guys to spin them up, plug them in, run the software, and get it set up into the right spec. With Amazon, you can what you do is you get your credit card out, you put it, you punch the number in instantaneously, you get exactly what you need. And on top of that, it's not just servers like for space of hosting. There's over 200 tools that they've built to make things simpler. So, for example, a tool called Cognito, that's a login, an authentication authorization system. It's very, very quick and simple to get to run up, to build that. Where if you built your own that if you built your own, it would take you weeks to build. Where with them, it would take you less than a day, or run scripts and things like that. So, and what this is a thing called Lambda or serverless. Mm-hmm. So what they've built is, so what I said before, the 400 servers, because the maximum capacity at our peak times, you're going to need to have 400 servers to be able to handle the load. But 99.9% of the time, you won't need that server capability. Because it's only peak between at lunchtimes on weekdays, right. Sort of thing. So you're spending a lot of money on servers that don't exist. And even if you use EC2 or S3 buckets, things like that on Amazon, you're using you're buying the capacity that maximum you need. But with Lambdas or serverless or event-driven architecture, you don't need to even think about servers. You don't have to provision them or nothing. You're literally, Amazon automatically spins up the requirements you need as you need them, and you only pay per usage. So it's like micro cents per transaction.
Right.
So if you could go a month with only one transaction a day and pay virtually nothing, and then all of a sudden that one day a month in your really busy day where everyone gets on and plays their game, that on the monthly activity, it needs 5,000 capacity, 5,000 people capacity, and it does thousands and thousands of transactions. It costs you $5 for that day. So it scales automatically for you what your needs are. So all of that, I read through this document and all of it, what they were talking about was about two things: Lambdas for the event-driven architecture, and this other thing called Eventbrite that really helps developers work together remotely. And so I assume they've in 2022, Immutable changed to that event-driven architecture or Lambdas or serverless, and therefore now that they're building, they would have been building tools for developers to build their games with Immutable through that architecture. And so this is about building tools for Immutable, customers only, and because it's tied to Ethereum, so they'll build tools that will work on Ethereum. But because Immutable ZK EVM is Ethereum equivalent, it will work for Immutable as well. So that's probably how they've been able to win this business, I believe, win this partnership, because they can go, hey, we're equivalent to Ethereum, build tools that help games developers access the various things they need faster and easier, quicker and safer, and you can then scale it to other customers that use Ethereum directly.
I told you before.
I want a bit of
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just saying I talked for a long time. So
no.
Did I lose you there?
No. Yeah, I told you before we started this podcast, I had several questions to ask you, and you just like hit them all in one shotgun post. So
sorry.
I'm gonna break this down a little bit. So it's amazing hearing you talk about this, because you were talking about Amazon, right?
Yeah.
The whole time you were talking about this, you're talking about Amazon putting all these tools in place so that customers that come to them can just seamlessly go into whatever business they're doing, and they don't have to worry about that tech side because Amazon is hosting that for a fee with a swipe of a credit card. You just basically said what IMX is doing, but for the Web3 gaming. They're following all. It sounds like they're almost following the blueprint that Amazon is doing. Or am I off on that?
No, it's pretty similar. So, however, they're not doing it for just blockchain. There's so many things that a game, like, you hear about fully on-chain games that do everything on-chain. Well, whatever reason you do that for, I've tried to understand these people, why they think it's the future. I still haven't been. To me, it's not required, but I think ZK proofs have got a real criticism that they're not necessarily on chain. Like, the stuff gets put onto chain, but there's all this back end infrastructure needed to run a ZK, and it's quite large needs. So there's a bit of information there about that as well, about Ethereum becoming data from the cloud is validated on Ethereum, that's like where they store some stuff off chain. Seems to like they'll be using Ethereum AWS to get it, to store it off chain and then make sure it's on Ethereum as well through tools. But that's one small aspect of that, I assume.
It sounds like IMX, from what this says in this article that they put out, and from what you're telling me, it sounds like by them, IMX making this move, it's going to make them faster and have even more security than they already had. Am I off on that one?
No, that's true. That's what it is instead of the customer having to come in and build tools to get things done like they normally do on their own game, Immutable's building tools to say, hey, we know how you're going to want to use, the blockchain. This is what you're going to need. If it's not fully on chain, you're going to need stuff off chain as well. And here's the tools to make that very easy.
Right.
Instead of it's like what is a library? I don't know if you've ever heard it before, but if you say someone tells you about a library for a development language, all that is packaged up code that, for example, jQuery is a library for JavaScript, the number one language in the world, which is Solidity is based on.
Mm-hmm.
jQuery, when I first started learning to code, I used to write these things called XHR requests, and it's like a request that automatically updates the website without it refreshing. So you see those websites where things change without it refreshing. That's a XHR request. There's 25 lines of code, and to get that done, like the minimum you need to write is 25 line of codes. With jQuery, you can just write $get, and that 25 lines of code is in that $1 get. So because that's a commonly used tool, the XHR code, people write tools to make things simpler for developers.
Yeah.
And that's what this is doing with Amazon. They're using Amazon to build tools for developers to be able to quickly build any needs they have for storing data, retrieving data, and maybe lot more things than that. And it's event-driven architecture is huge in Amazon. I believe they were first to build it. They either bought someone and integrated it first and built it, or they built it themselves. But they're leaders. They're the leaders in cloud. Like Google and Azure, Microsoft are playing catch up with AWS still.
Yeah, I know AWS is huge. I think they're the number one in the world.
They're number one, but everyone's predicting that Google and Microsoft will take over them, but they haven't yet, and it's because they just invest for 10 years. They were never profitable because every single cent they made, they just reinvested into building capability in their platform. So they're the most advanced platform from capability, and it's number one used. It's global. So that's another big thing. Like developers, it doesn't matter where they are, they can instantly scale. Like you need to be able to have servers all over the world for your games if you've got a global game as well, which is very unique. Like to gaming, you can't have servers 2 or 3. You need to have them 20 or 30 all over the world to like locations for ping, so that people, especially shooting games where if you're got to send you a signal for 0.2 of a second and then return for 0.2 of a second, the person's shot you and before you've even seen them, sort of thing. So
yeah,
that's another thing that this partnership will bring, is that global presence for games to be able to quickly scale, but have location-based services for their games.
Yeah.
It's exciting that they've been acknowledged by AWS. The actual website, the AWS website, has this as an article about Immutable and how it works.
You're gonna have to send that to me. I haven't seen that one yet. I like what you said about they put every cent in for 10 years and weren't making any money because they wanted to control the server space atmosphere, and it's definitely paid off for them. That really, I think that's bullish for what they are doing now. They're behind the scenes quietly lining up their company to be ready for the Web3 space. It's apparent. They're bringing on these games to get involved with them. They got a marketplace going on somewhere you were talking about earlier. Now they're bringing IMX into the fold. I think IMX is just going to be like a third-party contractor for them. And it's funny that you're telling me all this stuff, and like the whole time you're telling me about it, I can totally input. You're talking about Amazon. I can input IMX into it because that's what IMX does for gaming companies. They're putting the tools in place for gaming companies to come in, not have to worry about all that infrastructure stuff, and just focus on the game. Just like Amazon put in the infrastructure stuff so that whatever business comes in there, they can focus on their business and let Amazon tools do the rest. And I like that. I think it's an awesome model.
Yeah, they did it with that Immutable X blockchain. They made it all API driven, so you didn't even actually you couldn't even write a contract. You could not do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to use the custom, the out of the box, what they built for you only, and that backfired on them a bit. It's why they're not completely dominating already. If ZK EVM was available 3 years ago, it'd be game over by now. Immutable would be like number one blockchain gaming. If you're not building there, you're silly, sort of thing. Maybe AVAX and Ronin survive. Maybe nice. Solana. But what they've got, it's good that they didn't get that first, because they've got all the mistakes that they made. They built up, and what's something that did happen is it was very different to what anyone else expected. Like, so they had problems with documentation at the start, and that got better over time, and it's definitely better now, way better now. And then they also, it was just a different way of thinking. And people were coming into the blockchain, going down a path, and then Immutable will come in and say, hey, we're gas free, come and join, and we're API driven, come join us. And they're like, got to change the whole entire boat around to think, and then build all this AWS backend cloud services because Immutable didn't use custom contracts very well, or limited to 3 contracts. That's Ethereum contracts, that is. So they've learned from that with zk because they're going to have both. They're going to have the API ones where people, if they don't want to write Solidity at all, people will be able to use contracts through API calls, which is just a simple, here's the documentation. 95% of developers know how to consume an API. So it's like very developer friendly. And then they've got the AWS tools now as well, where maybe some of it will be API driven, some of it will be just, here's the docs. This is how you create a like a store for data for this. This is how you store for data for that. This is an authentication system. There's so many different tools that they could build on AWS, and partnering with them to get them to AWS to enable Immutable to be the tool so it'll work out the box for Immutable. Other people they'd have to go do that for them as well. It wouldn't be, they build it for Immutable and it works everywhere else. The only place it'll work, it would be Ethereum equivalent chains, maybe Tyco in the future, or zk Sync, maybe what's the other one? There's one other, Linear. So, and Ethereum itself. So other than that, all the other ones right now, they'd have to do this all again completely from scratch. So it's not like it's, maybe they will do that in the future. And this is a test case. If blockchain gaming takes off, they can, obviously AWS will do it, and will, because if another blockchain comes big, it makes sense for them to do that for gaming. But at the moment, it seems like it's just going to be.
I'm glad I know you. You've got so much information on the infrastructure side. It just blows my mind. I'm like here just like, holy smokes, this guy's just got all this information. It's just, yeah, they've got the infrastructure lined up. It's super. I'm glad they're teaming up with them. Yes, it's not a ginormous announcement, but it kind of is, because you're teaming up with one of the leaders in the industry that can handle things that maybe you could handle, but if they can handle it, you can focus on other things. And I like that. I wanted to ask you, we've talked a lot about the infrastructure with Amazon, which is super important, but the other aspect of it is that I liked is they're going to be bringing IMX gaming leads, and their AWS account managers, they're going to be incentivized to bring them leads, and that's how they're going to be paid. How does that work exactly? I don't know, but I like the capitalistic nature of that, of you bring us leads, you get paid. So what's your thoughts on the amount of games that could potentially come off of this for IMX?
Yeah, well, Amazon has like its own game engine, like Unity and Unreal. I can't remember what it's called, but it's pretty big. I think it's the 3rd biggest one, as in games that use it. So these game leads would be using their engine to develop the salespeople that are selling them this. There's this engine to use. May be, if you come and join Immutable, if you wanted to make it a blockchain game, join Immutable. They've got all the tools to seamlessly do it. They could be. That's the 3rd biggest. After Unity, after first, then Unreal Engine, then is the Amazon one. So I think it's called Light Source or Source Light or something like that. Might look that up actually. Yeah, so that is big, and also, they're already winning more than 60% of games they are sailing to already now and I assume it's because of this AWS partnership, and 100K potential. Like, I don't know what it takes to get 100K for a game building on them. Maybe they have to prove that they've got a certain amount of, potential to earn. But right. I'll give you a hint. I was talking to a game developer the other day and about their cost. So the voice and video, like running through Amazon, is really expensive. So yeah, they'd spent $360,000 on before the game's even out.
Oh, wow.
So
That's a lot of money.
that's what it can. I don't think they were doing it. I don't think they were doing it really like efficiently. They're just like from the oil nations, so probably got a little bit too much money to worry about. That sounds of it. I don't know, but that was the cost that they had run up over a couple of years of running on AWS for all. They put everything for AWS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is another thing. Like they were going to go with Huawei, the Chinese company, and it just were changing from AWS to Huawei, and it just couldn't handle what was going to happen, what they needed them for. So they cancelled that, so then came back to AWS because they are the big player, them, Google,
Right.
and Microsoft. But I think AWS is the biggest reach. But yeah, the sales side of things is huge. You get access to they also got internal game devs. Now, this is what I wanted to say. It's related. Robbie said on a panel that the biggest game they're ever going to announce, it will be announced shortly.
Right.
And then they announced this, like a couple of weeks after, like he said, month to 2 months. This is about a month after that panel, this announcement.
Oh,
And
okay.
I put my feelers out there into the Immutable world and
Ooh, what do you
employees, and I said, was this the announcement that Robbie was talking about on the panel? And he goes, I don't know if I should tell you, but no, it's not.
Well,
so yes, that's good news because
my gears are turning. My gears are turning here. So, can we speculate that maybe the announcement is going to be something that's tied to Amazon then?
That's exactly what I thought.
Yep.
And they then tried to turn me away from that idea. So maybe it's not right, or maybe it is, and they just not wanted it to come out yet.
Now I want to go through all Amazon's games and just come up like a top 10 of who could it be.
They're big. They got a big. Is it Lost Ark? Is that Amazon?
I have no idea. I don't know much about Amazon games, unfortunately, besides like Blanco's Black Party and Mojo Melee.
Yeah, publisher Amazon Games. Lost Ark. It's huge, mate.
Yeah, I've
Huge
heard
game.
of it. I've heard of it. I didn't even know it was with Amazon, to be honest with you, though. I've been out of the mainstream gaming. I've only been in Web3 gaming for like the last 3 years, so I'm a little behind on stuff with the mainstream.
Well,
But yeah, again, I'd have to definitely check that out. I'm glad you brought that up. That's definitely a good possibility. And I liked on Between Two Laters yesterday or the day before, I was listening. Robbie was talking about when they were in over in Asia. It was like Korea, Japan, Singapore, and somewhere else. They talked to 100 game developers, and 60 of them were like they consider them large game companies, and only one out of the 60 was like a hard no. The rest of them, half was like lukewarm, and the other half was like definitely thinking about Web3. That's a really good ratio.
yeah, they'll all come when they see how much money they can make from the, when what's it called? When Valve works out that they're $32 billion in 3 years, they could have 10% off.
Yeah.
From creator sales, fees. What's that? What's 10%? If they put the fees at 10%, 32 billion over 3 years.
I'd be okay with 0.01% of that.
$32 million, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Holy smokes.
$320 million.
Right. Yeah, that's got to catch some eyeballs,
Yeah. So even if they did 5%, that's one. I don't know my maths. 1.6, $160 million. So.
Yep. Big news, big stuff.
They'll come. They just need the way to be shown. Like disruptors. Valve disrupted the industry with all what they did, and now they're getting disrupted. And it's very rare that someone, an incumbent, is able to change with the disruption, with the politics, with their shareholders, with the way everything's working as we want it now. We're making all this money. By the time they realize that they're being left in the dust, it's too late for them in any business, in any field, and that's what's happening to them. But I'm not also people know that I don't believe that blockchain will be in every single game. I don't think there's a need for it. It's
No,
just, you know.
no, I don't think it'll be in every single game, but I think it's going to be a lot of things. I think we all know that, and it's just going to
Yeah.
take some time. So, uh, yeah,
So
I don't
let's
really
round
have
up
any.
that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to round up AWS.
Mm-hmm.
So game leads, so leads, potential sales are going to increase because of this partnership because of three reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon's a big name. It's the best. It's the best infrastructure for games to be able to scale, and also for global reach. Um, Tools are because of Mutable is equivalent with Ethereum. These tools will work for both Immutable and Ethereum. So games will have the option to go, you know what, if it doesn't work with Immutable, I'm still an ETH equivalent. I can go to any other chain.
Yeah.
So it's very easy. So they're going to win because there's that easy backdoor. Now, if Immutable starts failing for some reason, then yeah, it could be a bad thing, but it's like a snowball. Once the snowball's going, that's what will happen with success but just by winning the games in their bulk like they are. Once the games start coming out in bulk, and there's going to be all these hits coming, it's going to be like a snowball. So I feel that this is like another contribution to that snowball. This win, because it's another reason why developers will choose Immutable, the
Right.
100K, and then the accelerator program, the 100K. The working together. That's two massive things. We already talked about that. Elasticity. Amazon's the kings of that, building lambdas, which is called serverless technology. There really is a server there still, but the user doesn't know about it. It just automatically does. Amazon just does it. You just send a signal, and it does what normally, reduces all this code and all this reliance on infrastructure. You just pay per transaction rather than for the server to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, there's 250,000 startups in this incubator, so it's not like it's exclusive. We'll see other gaming chains once Immutable starts to get traction, and AVAX I believe will be a successful chain. They'll probably come there as well. And they've already got a partnership with Amazon for their they've announced it as well, but that wasn't this. It was around their blockchains.
Right.
Yeah, and the win rate is going to go up because of this in the overall, and they're already at 30% when a year ago. Now they're at 60% win rate. So
Yeah.
things starting to come together.
Yeah.
There's another point coming up later There's another point coming up later in the show about why they're winning.
Yeah.
Really, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Should
What
we
do you want to?
jump into some of the new games coming out on IMAX or?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I think is it Mogaland or Mogaland? Do you know how to pronounce that?
Moga. I'd
Moga?
say Mogaland. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
It's
them. 375 followers. Looks like they're just getting into the scene now. This one is really. I don't know what to make of this one. I've never seen someone go this route. They're looking to do financial literacy protocol into gaming, where you play to learn. I was like, what? This reminds me of something like
Kinda cool.
maybe would be like in a school or something. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how this works as a game, but it's gonna be gamified.
Yeah, it sounds like the Hero Flame from that doing the Dungeons and Dragons mental health app on Immutable as well. So it's a Dungeons and Dragon themed, gamified mental health, just general health, but mainly like very big focus on mental health. So this is like for financial, not right, financial health. So teach you about financial freedom in a gamified manner with characters and images that humans learn better from. I think it's kind of cute.
Yeah, they
And
definitely got cute graphics for sure. I like the graphics.
yeah, mobile based as well. Sweet. I don't want to spend too much time on it because we'll find out more about it later on, and we can
Right.
talk about it when they start getting into releases and play tests and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Data 2073, another TCG. We were joking about how many TCGs there are in Web3. It does make sense. It does make sense. They're perfect for Web3 TCGs. They're one of the best. MMOs and them, I believe, are the best suited for Web3.
Right.
You collect all these cards, just spend all this money on them, and why don't you own them? There's no reason why you can't own them. If you design the game to be balanced properly and account for the ability to trade, then you can do it.
They're gonna have a tough time competing for market share in this space. It's another TCG game, like you said. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of information on them. Looks like maybe they're out of Spain, possibly.
Brazil.
Is it Brazil? Oh, okay. The graphics, what little I could look up, the graphics look pretty tight. It gave me a obviously it's robots, but it reminded me of like what Dr. Robotnik would have as his minions running around. If you know who Dr. Robotnik is from Sonic the Hedgehog, it's not Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously, but that's the kind of feel I got for the art. And
I think it looks cleaner, not like the 2D pixel, more like the movie Sonic the movie style art. I think their art's amazing. That's their big thing. I hope it's a little bit like. So I don't know much about the game either. There's not much you can find on it, and a lot of it's written in Brazilian. So sorry, we're not digging deep on this one. But their artwork is awesome, and if it's 3D based, like Shardbound, with something like that, where it's not just a pure deck board and the same as all the other games out at the moment. Parallel's already won apparently, according to crypto Twitter. But their graphics look awesome, mate. So be interesting to see how they tie that graphics into the game. If it's part like movement on a board as well as the cards, that'd be really cool. We'll wait and see. But if the art's as good as that in the game, they got a chance of having success because it is really, really nice art.
I want more info on these guys. There's not much to go off of. Cool little trailer, cool little rundown of their team doing some art, and the art looks amazing, but I need more info on this. But it does look like it's got some potential.
Yeah. Next one, Last Resort. We won't go on for this too long. We interviewed Mattel from France, who's the builder of this game. He was building it. That was like in episode 5 of these. Went up to 15 now. So what, 2-3 months ago. So this is another re-announcement. I assume they're doing this once they start building on ZKVM. So that's what I think that's happening, because now that the testnet's out, it's identical to what mainnet's going to be like. So we already talked about that last week. So if they start building and putting code up and onto the thing, I think that's when Immutable is going to start giving them a shout out, because there's been a history of games announcing multiple chains and then only building on one, just to get their reach out there.
Right.
So I think there's a strategy. Blockchains are doing less announcements, if you noticed lately. Although I stopped following a lot of them because I just going to cut down how much material I see on Twitter.
Right.
Maybe they are still announcing. Maybe the weaker chains are announcing everything they get, but Immutable seems to be like the 12 games that were announced last month or week, the last couple of weeks. That only like 5 or 6 of them they announced. The rest of them they replied to their announcement. So it's a change over time, because I think we want to make sure they committing to the chain before they announce it.
Yeah, I briefly looked over Last Resort. Gives me the Walking Dead vibes. That's what it gives me. Very interested in it. 12,500 followers. That's a decent amount. I'd like to see that number go up some more, but they got a working project going. It definitely looks interesting. This is gonna be one I'm watching because I am a fan of the zombie kind of esque.
Mobile as well, which is your favorite device.
What? Sorry, what was that?
It's on mobile as well, which is your favorite device to play on.
Oh yeah, well that's good. That's good. I didn't even see that.
It's PC as well, but it's a mobile focused game. But you can play it on your PC.
Mobile's good for me. My line of work and stuff like that. When I'm not busy, I can jump on and play a little bit and get a feel for things. So yeah, I'm a big fan of mobile.
I think this one's better for co-op play. So whilst it will be able to get and play single player, like these games take a little bit more coordination because you need to be on at the same time as someone if you want to do probably the harder tasks. So work together. But yeah, I played it when it first came out. There's just so many games to play at the moment. I liked it, and I think it's going to be pretty successful because people like zombie shooters.
Yeah.
And it's not it's more of a top-down view style, and that 12,000 followers, no autopilot. Shout out to you, brother. No autopilot. That's what he does. He's an absolute pro. He grew that. I joined that at the same time when they announced Immutable, with less than 100 people on the Twitter, and he's grown it to 12,000
Oh, nice.
for a small mobile game. And the kind of on top of that, the ancillary stuff he offers is like feedback and market data and all this stuff that he offers businesses. It's not just the growth; it's about go-to-market strategy. He's got all these categories that he can offer people. So yeah, a bit of a shout out to a friend if you're looking to grow your network in or a Web3 project. He's your man. No autopilot.
Oh, good. Good to know. I did not know that. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
What we
So
got
that's
next?
not many games on this week, but there's a few exciting things happening, and WAGMI Games has had a bad time lately because of they had a failed mint because of reasons. Yeah, I'm not going to go into them again. They minted on layer one, and there's all this complexity around it. What you're getting, because some of it went to layer two, some of it stayed on layer one, and they cut their mint down to 3,000 from 10,000 and half the price. So they've really reduced what kind of income they're going to get. And I think they sold out in the end. But yeah, one thing they announced is that they're building with Passport, and they already use Magic Wallet, which Passport is built on top of. So Passport uses Magic Wallet's code, and they're built on Passport on top of it. It's different. It's not the same thing, but it's the same code as Magic Wallet. And people are like, we've said this before, Passport is bigger than just a sign-on, a social sign-on, And what I got from this WAGMI announcement was that the reason why they're going to Immutable Passport is because of the problems they've had with Magic. And it's functional, but it has caused issues like with claiming custody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a custodial wallet, so you don't own custody, and you have to claim it to get the custody of the items.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to, and it couldn't do all the trading that was required and all the things that they were required on the game. Where and I did it. I tried to claim my NFTs. I play WAGMI every day. I think it's got a lot of potential. It's just a simple game. Log on 3 or 4 games a day. That's all I do. I'm playing against bots most of the time. But it's collect my cards each day and level them up. That's good fun. But I don't know where they are because the magic link didn't work, or something went wrong when I tried to do it. It was a pain, and I just didn't go back to try and reclaim. The steps were it's like a friggin' essay on how to do it. Now, Passport's going to come in and wipe that out. You log in with Passport. You're going to go into your any marketplace you choose and log in with your Passport, and then you're going to see all your NFTs there. Nothing at all. You don't have to do anything to claim. It's non-custodial. Already when you start playing, it's yours. So. And that's the best. I've been arguing this point with people often about how big Passport is over all the others, and they just don't seem to get it yet. And this is a prime example. WAGMI even uses Magic Link, the same technology that Passport uses, and there's that much more being built onto it.
Yeah, I'd like to. I wish I knew the reasons why they would not go with Passport. They were already with IMX. I'm kind of head scratching that one, but maybe they're...
The game's out already. That's why. So Passport's not live yet in testnet. So they've started building it onto testnet. And as soon as ZKVM goes live into mainnet, they will switch it on, bang, straight away. So they'll be testing it, getting people to log in and try it now. With in a secondary build or something like a developer build. So. Right. Yeah,
that was kind of silly of me to say that. I'm realizing that now, but yeah, that's they got to test out the other one, and they're seeing the difficulties with that, and that's bullish for IMX. That hey, I can't wait till they go to mainnet so that thing can get out rolling more for more and more developers and games to jump on board with that, and I think that's going to help IMX overall. Just that frictionless. application alone is just huge in the space.
Yeah, it's just it's so needed. ZKVM's needed so badly, and Passport's needed so badly. I just can't wait to just have all my games. Mate, what's come with Passport is so cool. It's gonna blow everyone's socks off when they finally get to see what it all is. It's it's not just a log on. It's not just a socials log on. It's not just the ability to send NFTs, buy NFTs. There's way more to it than that.
Yeah.
That's probably only 10% of what it's going to be. And when it first comes out, it's what we know about it, what everyone expects it to be, is only about 30 or 40% of what's actually coming with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like things like gamer profile with little things on it that track things, like achievements, like Steam
Ooh,
achievements.
I like that.
Maybe I've let the cat out of the bag there. Maybe I'm going to get in trouble, but it's all right.
Ooh.
Only 20 people listen to this video. Don't tell anyone yet, guys. Don't let me get fired for my advocacy.
Yeah. No, I like that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, mate, it's so exciting.
Looks like you. I have not had a chance to try it out yet. You've tried the Space Nation playtest, I believe, or
Yeah,
how's that going?
yeah. I only got time today because my potato internet took like 5 hours for it to download. I forgot how slow my internet was, so I only got it about 20, 30 minutes before the game, or before this before we're recording.
Oh, okay.
And I've done the prologue. Like the logging. It's pretty sick. Like the graphics aren't. They've got it written everywhere. This is not final graphics, and it's still the graphics are not great, but they're not bad. They're like like you're probably like an A8 AA game rather than a AAA game. But the flying feels a bit slow. I know because the space is so big. That's the problem. You got a massive space and it doesn't look like. It just feels like you're going slow. To be honest with you, at the moment. So maybe that's just the start. I thought I saw a key to click H to make it so you stayed on. You kept on moving on like you can push WASD on the keyboard to move to speed up, and I couldn't get to stay on full speed ahead, so I had to hold the W down the whole time. I thought the H key was supposed to hold it, keep you on that, like lock you into the speed you're going.
Right.
So there was that, but I did the little story, walked around the landed in the base, and there's a video at the start. So when you do log on, have your OBS going and record it, mate. It's pretty sick.
Okay.
So there's two parts. You log on and they do the first introduction. What's the backstory to the game? And then at the end of that backstory, you end up in your ship somewhere, and then you're flying to safety, and then you land on the spaceship, and then it talks you through all the things and sends you on quests. So you learn what you can do on the space dock, and then that's where you can go and get into the into a 10 versus 10 battle.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Space fighting sims. I'm not sure it's going to be my cup of tea, to be honest with you. Like, I love space sci-fi, but I definitely like movies and story more than flying around shooting things. It's the same with, I guess, with first-person shooters. But I'm more about, I haven't seen that aspect to it yet. If there is something to grind, like, it's not I don't get the fun from shooting the enemy. I get the fun from the progression in games.
Yeah.
So, which is the next game we're going to talk about, is what I'm really excited about because of that. So, Space Nation, everyone can play it right now, I think, for a couple of days, more days. So, I believe, if you just join Logistico's account, and I think you can connecting and play the game. I believe it's open to everyone, but it might be wrong. You might have to go and ask for a key. Cool.
I'll check that out. Yeah, you were talking about your the next one that you're really amped up for about Ember Sword.
Yeah, I think you're fading it because you've had some influences, some unfavorable influences pumping it, and you're like, well, that must be a shit game. Where I think they've sent you on a bum steer, mate, because it's probably up there in the top 5 games for me coming out. Maybe even top 3.
You're 100%. You're 100% correct. That's why I never looked at it, because someone was talking about it.
Some douchebag. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's MMO RPG. Everyone knows that. That's the interesting Ember Sword. It's but it's got the playtest is coming up at the end of this month in about 10 days, or 8 days. It's where you first raid boss or your boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knows you got to go and get your gear and build up to get to powerful enough to be able to take the bosses on. And you do it in a group. That's my favorite style of game. So, and the casualness of it, in the graphics in it, so it doesn't feel super serious, but it's cute and it's on a playable on mobile and iPad on PC. It's going to be a huge game, mate. It's going to be massive, free to play. People love free to play, and then and passport being, the gamers won't even know that they're getting NFTs. They don't have to care about it. You just tell, even only ones that won't play it are the haters, complete haters of NFTs. But I've got mates that don't care about NFTs at all, and they'll play that game because I told them about how easy it is to log on, and that they don't have to worry about NFTs. You might get them, but you won't need to worry about them. So I think it's going to be one of the first games to hit real mainstream if it comes out soon enough, but it might not come out into 2025. So
right,
it may take a while.
Well,
yeah,
since you have mentioned it and you've talked it up, I will check it out regardless of what that other guy said. But that's just because of you,
mate. It's probably not your style of game because it takes a lot of more time and dedicated time at set times. So like you probably need to have a time where you get a group of friends and play in a guild, and well, I guess they're going to have things like you be able to build bases and stuff on people's, because there's land. I won some land. I won that how Immutable does the Gleam competitions all the time for different things.
Yeah, the thing I never win those.
I won one. I won a piece of land from
cool.
Ember Sword. Mate, that's like $80. Yay! So
that's awesome.
I've got 6 blocks of land for Ember Sword now, but then 4 of them are next to each other, 2 are not. So, I'm not sure how important it is to have the land next to yourself or what they do if you've got the land next to yourself. But yeah, I've got 6 pieces of land now, and that's more land than friends to play games with. So
cool,
1 each. But yeah, everyone should be keeping an eye out for that one. It's open to everyone. I think you got to register. I'm not sure, but I've got some materials being sent to me. I think you've got it as well. It's in the Advocate chat, and it's so sick, man. Their art style, what they're building. I promise you that game is going to have 1 million plays.
Wow.
Promise you.
Okay, I gotta check it out then. I did see the Advocate thing. I'm gonna look at it later today, and I will check it out just because on your recommendation.
Yeah, the CEO is really cool too. He's an ex-gamer, esports pro player, Danish, I believe. So the Danes are bloody awesome at esports. If you didn't know, they're unbelievable. The per capita top players in the world they get in CS:GO is unbelievable.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. So Ember Sword, keep an eye out for it, everyone. Playtest. And now.
Oh yeah, we ready to do this? We ready to do this?
Yeah. You can go, mate. I've been talking lots of talking.
Man.
Tell me about it.
I tried to think about how I was going to talk about this right off the bat, and I'm just gonna be full transparent, man. A couple months ago, I really thought that maybe Guilty Guardians wasn't gonna make it, to be honest with you. And it wasn't that I want to be pessimist. It's just like everything that had happened. It was just like, what else were we supposed to think? And I gotta give Chris Clay a lot of credit. I gotta give the team a lot of credit. They, from everything I've seen, now let's put a little context here. This is just the beginning. It's like a reboot. We're practically starting from scratch. And in a short amount of time, they've pulled off a win here, in my opinion, with what they've released.
Guilty Guardians, Friends and Family playtest. Yeah?
Yeah, I should have specified that. Yeah, Guild Guardians Friends
Yeah.
and Family demo, playtest, whatever you want to call it.
400 players playing. I think it'll be finished by the time people listen to this because it's finishing very soon. From when we're still going right now for a couple more hours.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get up to?
I got into
Did you
silver. I got into silver bracket. I literally missed the gold bracket by one slot. 34 was the cutoff. I was at 35. And I missed the first 36 hours of playing because I had some real life stuff going on. But
So did I.
yeah, I was behind the 8 ball with that. Plus, I had to figure out what to do, how to do it. I made some mistakes along the way. I still ended up at 35, which I'm happy with. And then when I found out that I didn't make the gold cut for the last part of this, I stopped playing as much because I literally was playing. I was probably playing at least 6 to 8 hours a day, trying to catch up and just heavily addicted. This has been a home run. They needed this badly, and they got it. And for what it is at the time period of this reboot, I'm very happy. Congratulations to the team. What's your thoughts on it so far?
Oh, it's a bloody pain in the ass, man. I'm so addicted to it. I've played more than 6 hours a day, man. I played for 12, 14 hours a day, I reckon.
It's disrupting my life.
I started late and I missed the cut on the. I got bored in the endless dungeon, so I'm pretty dumb at these games. It take me a while to learn it all, and I did so many things wrong that it cost me. And I got through to silver, but I saw how because I started 36 hours late, like you, or 48 hours later, and so I was behind. Everyone else could get way more points doing endless dungeons because they were, they had higher gear, so they could get further. But what I end up doing is cashing all my characters out and just having five heroes that I made powerful. And I literally had 3 other backups that were about 20-30% behind all the time.
Right.
And they only came in for strategical, like if, I knew it was a hard. So in the dungeon run, so everyone that doesn't know, there's 2 types of dungeons. There's a normal dungeon run and there's an endless dungeon run.
Right.
And the normal dungeon run is 20 maps, and there's four maps, 4 zones within a map, so 80 zones. Some of those will be like just non combat ones. So there's probably about 70 or 65 combat zones in a dungeon. There was 2 dungeons, so there's 160 maps complete rooms to enter. And then once you run out of energy, you couldn't do them anymore, but you had energy to do endless dungeons. And there you didn't earn XP or items, but you did earn some shards for like a special item. So, it's kind of like a loop. You got to do endless dungeon to build up your character a little bit, but you can't power up too much by doing endless dungeons. So yeah,
Right.
And you got in the endless dungeon, the one where you didn't level up was where you got the points, and we had to. I think the game just crashed, man.
Are you playing it while we're talking?
No, I was going to bring it up right then to tell you that I beat you on the leaderboard, and it's not.
Oh, did
I
you?
end up getting. I just got past you while you were sleeping because you're in America, I'm in Australia. You were sleeping before this show, and I was up and playing, catching up, and got past you. Unless you, what did you get? What was your furthest dungeon you got in the endless dungeon?
I got to 70, the boss on 70. I couldn't beat the boss ever. Yeah, I quit playing. I don't know. I quit playing the game about roughly 24 hours ago. I didn't know if I was still in or not. Once I realized that I was not in the final tier, I just lost my drive to keep going. I have a lot of stuff going on. If I would have been in that gold tier, I would have still been grinding away, but I was just like, I've got what I needed to get out of this. I seen what I need to see. There's some stuff I know I missed, that how to optimize. That was part of it too. Was like I missed the first 36 hours. I'm slow to learn how to optimize, but I was figuring out finally, and I think it was 2 days ago, I finally figured out, I should probably cash out all my guys and make my top 5 the best. So I was a little behind on that. Then I realized, in the dungeons.
Story, mate.
What's that?
We had the same story.
Yeah, and then I realized
what you're saying is exactly what I did.
I realized in the dungeons, like, even when you got to the blacksmith, just craft anything, because you can salvage those to get points to put into your main's gear, and like it's very addicting because you have to grind up in the regular dungeon, power up to be competitive in the endless challenge. So you were constantly trying to grind, and they definitely hit the addiction level. I do not think this is sustainable at this model as is, but I'm okay with it right now because it's a step in the right direction. I think they're going to tweak it. They're going to take our feedback and they're going to improve it. I liked what Mythic Chef said in the post about that. It's a little too grindy. It's a little too long. It's not sustainable, and I agree with him 100%. But for what it is right now, I think it's perfect. I think it gives the community much needed energy, much needed optimism going forward, what this is going to look like. And I'm looking forward to the tweaks and stuff. And I'm hoping for that they get new game modes, which I think they kind of have to. This is looking up, man. I'm very optimistic about this. This really hit it for me, and I've never played this style of game before, so it's just like, wow, okay, maybe they do know what they're doing. Maybe I'm a complete idiot.
I'll tell you what, they don't have a clue what they're doing except for Chris Clay, and they brought him in to fix it, and that's what he did. He's I don't agree with him politically at all. I'm assuming, like, I see some of his posts and go, but he's a lovely guy, and you cannot deny that the guy gets game design, and he's been a genius to save this project. Like, I don't like this game compared to what they're building. We had this conversation in our Discord with some people that were upset about the game play because it's not for everyone. But there's way more people that play this type of game because of the casualness of it, because of the simplicity of it, and they're just sitting on their mobile and they can just, I was playing Endless Dungeon. I got up to level 70. The last thing I did on GOG was just tonight, while I was sitting here doing research for Who I'm X, doing research for this show. I had Endless Dungeon going, and it just, look back at it, play, do a map, and then get back to my work,
Yeah.
It's so friendly to be able to do that. I hope they create less energy. I don't want to be able to play the game for 12 hours a day.
Right.
I want it to be 2 hours a day maximum, and maybe 3 hours for the hardcore people that have a thingo. What's it called? A booster.
Right.
Because I feel what would happen is I feel obliged to play, or I'll be losing. Like you said, you stop playing because you're losing. So I will put the time in, which I don't have, and then I'll end up going, I can't compete. Yep. So if it's 12 hours a day, and I'll stop playing. So I really think that's one thing I think they should change. They should change that so that you can't play endlessly and level up, or endlessly and be on the leaderboard. I don't know. Maybe the leaderboard. I don't know.
There's a couple quick little fixes I think they could do. Right off the bat, there was no point in playing the second tier, third, or even fourth of the Endless Challenge, in my opinion. It was just play the first one so that you could kill the bosses and get those big points. Because it was way too hard to get just a fraction of more points in the next tiers up. So there was no point to it. So if they balance that out to where it matters to go up, I think that'll help a bit. And there's a couple other things they could do, but they might be encouraging this excessive playing for stress testing with the 400 people right now. And I'm pretty sure they're going to balance it out for the quality of life aspect. And correct me if I'm wrong here. Isn't this style of game something that's very popular in the Asia markets?
Oh, yeah. It's huge.
The reason why I'm asking that is Chris knows this likely, and they're not just Guild of Guardians, Chris, but IMX is targeting Asia. They're not giving up on the West, but the West, unfortunately, right now, as painfully as this is for me to acknowledge it, they've made everything so hard regulation-wise that I think IMX strategically and smartly is saying, fine, we're just going to focus on Asia now where we can get volume and clarity and regulation that's pro this. And they're going there, so hats off to them. And this works, man. This is better than what was before. I'm all about it. I didn't think I would like the style of game. I do, and even if I didn't like this style of game, it's something in the positive direction. So if you want this project to succeed, we have to be on this path. So they're going in the right direction. Give them some time to balance it out. I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, they're going to have like guild play, and they're going to have PvP, and they're going to have like challenges with guilds. So there's heaps coming down the pipe.
I don't know. I don't know if this is going to still happen. A while ago, they were hardcore talking about a tower defense application to the game before the reboot. I don't know if they still have that in the plans. That could be another game mode, but I do know that was heavily talked about in the past.
That'd be cool. I'd prefer this game to be a little bit more dynamic. So maybe one more ability or two more abilities each hero. So where they've got down the bottom, where they have the ultimates pop up when they're available, you could have just two like small, make that about like half the size, and then have two more buttons below. So you've got three abilities, you know what I mean? So break up what they've got now for their ultimate into two small buttons at the bottom, and only at the top half is the ulti. And you can cast, so you could cast, be more dynamic the casts. And then also maybe some movement to be able to like position, like some more movement abilities that, someone jumps to the back line, or you wanted someone to jump to the front line, to the back, one of us to jump to the back line to take out one of their big hitters. Just a few more little things like that to it in season 2. Not this, it's not going to be out in season 1 like when they bring out the game, but when they bring out an expansion, I hope they just add a little bit more strategy to it, because it is and less time.
Yes.
To get through to the whole end of the dungeon, and more strategy. So a little bit longer fight in each individual fight. Instead of having 20 dungeons, rooms have 10. Something like that. So you can you can bring the strategy in just a little bit. That's what I'd do with it in an expansion in the future.
I'd like to see. More exciting. I very much love the UX improvements. What I would like to see gameplay wise, besides less time and more balancing, obviously, I had Leah, Karkuk, Morax, what's her name? The legendary tank. I lost her name. Freya, and I had Durin. There was a lot of times where Morax or Durin or even Karkuk, they'd be getting low on health, but they'd be like up in the grill like immediately, and I'd start off a match and they go right up in the grill. I wanted them to hang back sometimes. I'd like an option to fall back or like do a feint or something to like wipe their aggro if I wanted to, instead of them just at the start of the match, they jump right into the fray of it, and it's like, well, all right, there's nothing I can do about it. So sit and watch. Like that kind of stuff, like strategy-wise, I think would be really cool to implement.
I would take another year of building, so they're not going to bring it out for this release.
Right, exactly.
Adding that complexity, testing. The reason why they can get this game out in 12 months is because it's very basic, and there's not too much QA testing, balance, and all that kind of stuff to do. The balance is quite simple. But if they do all that, what you're saying, the balance comes what like. That's pretty much exactly what I was saying as well. Okay. Pretty much the same. Like the same thing. I want to be able to move. I want extra abilities on the heroes to be able to do maybe one movement, maybe some vector controls on it as well. Why can't I click on my hero and move them with a vector? You know what vector means? When you like, so you click on the screen and you drag it to where you want them to go and things like that.
Okay. Yes.
Sort of thing. Yeah. So vector movements but that will take a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot more complex. I get it. I'm just saying down the road, things I would like to see. So loved the EDM music they popped in for certain maps. Oh, that got me energized. I love EDM. I love trance. I love progressive. I love all styles of music, but I thought that was good to throw that in there. It's not in every map, but it gives it a little different flavor, and I like that kind of ambience. So big shout out to whoever made that decision.
You know what? Why I know it's going to be successful?
What's that?
Because right then, while you were talking, when we started talking about it, I got the game open, started opening it because I had an urge to play it. I had that. We're in the middle of broadcasting, and I literally had the urge to play it, and I did want to see the score to see who was on the leaderboard. But I remember there's not much time left, and I wanted to have one more crack at that final boss in the Brimstone final boss base.
Oh.
I got up to him. And I didn't. Got up to him with nearly full health, but I didn't have the ultimates available on him until a couple died. So I wanted to try and I wanted to see how good I went if I got up there with all my ultimates available. I was going to go sack the other 3 heroes I've got and put them all into hit points and that's actually one other thing I think is a bit of a problem with it. What I don't like about it. Did you feel that like the leveling didn't matter? Like it just didn't, you know what I mean? Like it was
early
didn't matter, but like,
early it did, but later it didn't seem like it mattered much. The bang for your buck of getting a level. The only thing that was cool about leveling is if you got it and you were hurting on health, it would heal your guy up. So that was nice.
Mate, I would play a whole 6 energy and not go up a level on a hero in the end.
Yeah.
What was your highest hero level?
I want to say 120-ish. I think I got to. Who'd you have on your roster?
I had
who's
Freya.
Your mains? Okay.
Freya, and I had what was the tank guy? What was his name? Calix? Just a normal one, just a blue rare.
Oh, okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
Calix. I had the healer. What's her name? With the blue healer, with the big elk ears, elk head.
Is it Priel?
No, she was just a rare.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh,
starts with F as well. And Ferulia, I think Ferulia something. I don't know. They got all weird names.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had so Freya, Calix, her, the healer, Leia, and I ended up getting Rufus.
Ooh, how was Rufus?
Yeah. He was pretty good. He's done a fair bit of damage, I think. Well, I'm not good at that, so I'm not sure. But yeah,
I think everyone can agree Leia was probably the MVP.
What level did you have her on?
I think she was my 120-ish. I got her to, I think, rank 7. Yeah, I got her to rank 7.
8. Oh, I got it at 8.
Wow.
When I sacked all my heroes, I was 600 green, what are they called, gems. You know how you get the level them up with the gems rather than a duplicate?
Mm-hmm.
And she needed 34,000 or 32,000, and I was 600 short after sacking all these heroes. And then I got like 20, or not 20, about 10 normal standard rare drops from, that you got from doing achievements. And none of them were green, which gives 600. None of them were green until about a 10th one. And finally, right at today, just late today, I finally got a rare hero that was a keeper, so I could sacrifice and get the gems that I level up to level 8.
There's so many different things to upgrade on these characters and your crafting and stuff. I mean, it really sucks you in to like, oh, what can I upgrade next to make myself just a little bit better so that I can do better in the endless challenge. I think that was part of the addiction.
This game is going to go massive, mate. Everyone's worried about getting their money back and that from getting big numbers. I don't think the numbers of players are going to impact how much money players will be able to make from this game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be designed for download from the App Store. Passport sets up. Most of them won't even know. You can sell it and buy it and things like that, and upgrade them and sell them. I don't think they're going to, I don't think they're going to know it, and they're not going to pay stuff. They're just going to play the free version, and they're going to be grinding. They're going to get that urge. Oh, is it got some energy? Yep, sweet. I'm going to level up my hero again. Oh, sweet. I might have got a free weekend. I might have an endless dungeon run and see where I can get on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I was knocking out dungeons while I was waiting for my dentist appointment. I knocked out a quick dungeon. I may or may not have been doing it at work, and I was doing endless challenges while watching hockey. I was able to do both. Like, I could watch the hockey game, check back, see if my guys were done fighting, and then restart it. It was. I like the quality of life aspect of it, besides having to grind 6 to 12 hours a day.
Mate, well, I think Chris, I don't know if you saw my tweet about the Drake with a superimposed Chris Clay head over the top of it. You see that one?
No, I haven't. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it was. I didn't do it as an entry or anything like that. I just thought it was fun. It was Chris Clay saves the day, and it was a Drake with a picture of it. The not interested in the cool one. You know that meme.
I'm
You know
trying
the
to
meme
pull it
with
up real
Drake? Is
quick
it
here.
Drake?
I don't know what you're talking about. Let me. I'm pulling up your Twitter right now. Did you just do it recently?
Yeah,
Oh, there it
like
is.
10 hours
Okay.
ago.
All right. Chris Clay saves the day. Oh, that's cold.
Well,
That's cold. Oh my
it's like
goodness. You did
he
not
liked
do
it.
that. You did not do that. Um,
I was gonna put a picture. I was gonna put a picture of Ivan over over the top. I held back from that.
I just put too soon. I just put too soon on it with a question mark. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
So
That's
it's
good. I like it.
that's normally Drake, yeah?
I don't know the guy's name. I just know
Is
the
that?
meme. I know the meme.
Well, I thought it was Drake, but it might be wrong because I don't know American culture that well. But yeah, the meme with the yellow background, the orange jacket, the guy looks like Drake with his hand up saying no, and then the next one is pointing to it, going like yeah. And so the no one is the old picture
Dude,
of Gilded Guardians, and the new one is the new Gilded Guardians picture next to it. So
I
that's
take
all the
pride in my
screenshot.
memes. I take pride in my memes. I think I do a pretty good job. I gotta give you props, man. That's legendary memeage right there.
I enjoy a good meme every now and again.
Yep.
I got my best one ever was in the crypto unicorns. There's a guy called Time Traveler who's absolutely addicted to the game. Talked every second message on the chat channel was his own was his message. Like he talks, and that's for like months on end. He's just on all day long, every day. He doesn't seem like he sleeps, and he just talks in response to everyone. One of those guys, just so dedicated, and just he's a nice guy, but he's just like maybe let some people talk sometimes, and then all of a sudden, uh, we had the mods over there are the best. They're the absolute best. Lovely girls, most of them girls. There's a couple of guys, and they're just like they're amazing. They're the best mod team out there, and they're just talking all the time. And they put a rate limit on the chat, and to one message in a minute for some reason, for just temporarily. But it was thought it was going to be forever at the time. And I wrote that meme where the cat at the table eating dinner, and the
Yeah.
girl screaming and pointing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it was like that was time traveler above her head, and the cat was Sparky shutting off what putting a time limit on chat.
Oh man.
And mate, I got so many comments for that one. People were
Oh
like,
man.
you know, well enjoyed that one. That was my best ever. That one. So
Nice. Very
I do
nice.
I do a pretty good meme game sometimes, but I don't normally do it unless I think it's funny. Which is
Yeah.
anyway.
Well,
Mate, Gilded Guardians wrap up. It's going to be a raging success. It doesn't matter what Web3 crypto Twitter thinks. It doesn't matter if the 40,000 players in crypto Twitter like it or not, or fade it because it's on Immutable, or fade or whatever. This game is going to be successful. It's very simple and addictive, and it's just started. It's just a play test, man. It's just really early, and it was already really addictive. I normally can't bring myself to play tests very much, and I just couldn't stop.
yeah, I agree. I'm in the same boat with you there. So
Yeah.
looks like we failed on trying to keep this short today, but that's okay. We had a lot of good stuff to talk
All right.
about.
I want to. Oh, there's one last thing.
Yeah.
There's a game coming out called Lusa. They've announced Immutable. They've announced Saga as well, which is this new chain. But Lusa is under the radar, mate. Its graphics is unbelievable, up there with the best in the world. Unreal Engine 5.2. They've just posted a in-game video, like screenshot, like video of gameplay, and it looks sick. So we might have to do a bit of talking about that next time.
Okay. Yeah, you have to send me a link. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, it's because they use Telegram, which I don't like, but I'm in it sometimes for some places that
I
don't
haven't
have
been on
Discords
Telegram
and
in
that.
forever. I used to be on it all the time, and I haven't been on it much.
So yeah, everyone keep an eye out for Lusa. It's a game builder on Immutable. They've just announced this announcement had Immutable's name in it, so they're definitely building on Immutable.
Nice, very nice.
And yeah, it's going to be it's so under the radar. People just don't understand. Oh, I want to get a video compilation of all the Immutable games and the gameplay of the latest games of all their games, and just show the world, because in 6 months' time, people are going to go, oh, that's
I'm
what they're going to
actually
do.
I'm actually working on something. I'm working on something. I might need your help with that. I need like the top 20 or top 30 IMX games that, in your opinion, because I'm working on something with the little video stuff. I'll get to it eventually here.
We should do a tier list. You and I, WT and Rubick tier list of Immutable games.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Building.
It's not a
There's
bad
100.
idea.
There's 125 now, I believe, games that we know of.
I won't be able to tier all that many, but like the top 20 maybe, or something like that. You know, maybe top 10, top 20.
We'll we'll make you do some more work, mate.
Great.
No, just check. No, there's 50 good games building on it, so it's going to be hard to tier list. We'll wrap it up now. Thank you everyone for listening. WT and I do ramble on a bit. Apologies if you're getting a bit bored. But hopefully you got some gems in there today, and bringing you some knowledge about the Immutable ecosystem, so that you can understand why we're big supporters of it. Thanks for coming on, WT. Hope you had a good one.
Yep. Had a good one.
All right, bye. See you, everyone.